we not turn that into medal-winning athletes? What's always the issue? How can we build on what's happening this week, yesterday and today? Basically, that's the conversation we'll have. There are also question marks about Jose Mourinho, whether or not he's racist. According to the Turkish Football Federation, he is, because he's been fined and banned for 4 matches for comments he made on Monday following Fenerbahce's 0-0 draw against Galatasaray. He insinuated that the Galatasaray bench were jumping around like monkeys. And Galatasaray took offense, said they were instituting criminal proceedings against Jose Mourinho for those comments. Fenerbahce jumped to the defense of Jose Mourinho and said his comments were misconstrued. The Turkish Football Association wasted no time. Yesterday, they released a statement saying that Jose Mourinho had been fined £35,000 and banned 4 matches for those comments. But the ultimate question is this just a case of Galatasaray taking undue advantage and watering down the issue of racism by wildly accusing Jose of racism? Or those comments were inappropriate, and perhaps in that case you would say Jose Mourinho was racist and that this fine and this ban is inadequate for any racist offense? We will get into that particular issue. And then Jamie Carragher, what's going on with him and his comments on the Africa Cup of Nations? Lots of people have waded into that conversation. We'll do that here as well. Here on the show. It's live and interactive on social media. We're streaming live on X Spaces. We're also streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook Live. Last week we gave away 7 jerseys. I hope some of you have come for yours. Some of you have not come for your jerseys yet. If you've not done that, please, you can send someone to come for it. You don't need to travel all the way down here to come and take a jersey. Just send somebody to pick it up for you. Okay? Do that. Pick up your jersey and then go and enjoy it. If you want to get in touch with us on any of the things we'll be discussing here on the show, use the WhatsApp number 055-1111-997. 055-1111-997. The guys are seated here. Mufta Nabila Abdullah is here. Mufti, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Cranting. I've just lowered your mic. What is wrong with you?
But why would you lower the mic?
Because what is wrong with you?
The people listening, have they told you that the thing is too loud? What's your issue?
Achu, how are you?
I'm good. See, every day
it's over you.
I'm just thankful that the equity insurance people, whenever we go, they check clears. Because otherwise,
so what are you insinuating?
Yeah, man.
You see the way they nod their head like a gamma?
Sicho is doing Galamsey today, so he's not showing up. He's doing MC gig.
It is in service to the Lord.
Oh wait, you know what he's doing?
Yeah,
the Galamsey
is a church event.
Sicho there, he likes church.
So he's not only. In fact, he's a man of many talents. So he's the one in charge of the entire event.
Pause. He shouldn't like church.
He can like church.
He likes church.
Why? If you are stating if you are stating the obvious, what's wrong with that?
No, I don't understand. Like he likes church. So
there is no so.
It's like there's
he
something
likes
wrong
church.
With
yeah, he said a thing like there's something wrong with.
He likes church. Full stop.
No, so those
he likes because he likes church. He likes church.
He puts his talents to the service of the
Lord, as he should be.
Yes. So what he's doing is he's the one in charge of the entire event beyond emceeing it. It's an entrepreneurship program that the Church of Pentecost is organizing for its members and the general public.
Something.
You know,
at their horse now, they in trouser, no, they reach in ankle.
See, the
always in trouser, they lack material.
See, the substance matters, but the optics matter as well. See, he has to look the part.
This thing he wanted to say is for a long
time.
I want to say when he's not here. every day, his trouser material.
There's not enough material.
Actually, it's not reaching. He's not reaching his ankle.
Brandon.
Holds his calves.
Yes.
And leaves the ankle.
Brandon.
He's doing the opposite of Karim, whose trouser can sew two skinny trousers for Alright, guys, let's go to the phone lines. And we are joined now on the phone by two of our reporters on the grounds in Ashanti region and in Central region, Cape Coast and Kumasi, specifically for the inter-schools competition. In fact, I would like to begin from Cape Coast. That's a lot of activity there in the background. But Zando and Joseph, welcome to the show.
Thank you, friends. Thank you for having me.
All right, listen, Joseph, you are inside the Cape Coast Sports Stadium earlier today, yesterday, and today. There's been quite a lot of drama. Which team is leading? Who is emerging the superstar? What exactly is happening? I've seen videos of.
So far, so good. I mean, the whole event has come to a close, and in principle, for me, has been the most outstanding school team. I mean, performing here on the track, and then just right now, I mean, everyone was surprised with the mention of Jonathan Ofori Nkrumah emerging as the best student athlete ahead of Joseph Ando Kofi. I mean, a lot of people are surprised with why Ando Kofi is the best. Jonathan Ofori Nkrumah is the best athlete ahead of Ando Kofi, but you'll be surprised to see that Jonathan has broken quite a lot of records in the 400 meters and then 800 meters. So I think these are quite outstanding achievements in the athletics so far. And other events include the 200 meters, which was won by Portia Nkrumah, who is with Edinaman Senior High School. She also emerged as the best student athlete in the female category. So far, so good. I mean, everything here is going on well. Likewise, the track and field event, high jump, javelin, Infantsipim, and then St. Augustine's College have so far acclaimed or amassed so much points in these categories. Likewise, at this Ado College. The rest of the schools, we have Punjako Senior High School, who have also outperformed their colleagues here. They've been quite a competition for the other school, if I must say.
All right, Joseph, you know you mentioned Nkrumah and then Ando Kofi. These two athletes clearly have been the standout performers. Tell us a bit more about this Kofi Ando guy. He's all over social media. What events has he won? What records has he set? Why are people surprised that he's not won the athlete of the overall best athletes? What has he achieved exactly? Ando
emerged as the best fastest man in this year's edition for the Super Zonal athletics. He won the 100 meters race. He also won the 200 meters race. But it's quite unfortunate he wasn't able to break any record here as his colleague Jonathan did. Jonathan broke the record for the 200 meters, 400 meters, likewise the 800 meters. He broke quite a number of records, which I'll get hold of the figures right after here. And I think that's what makes Jonathan a standout performer, like compared to Ando. But if you look at the entire overall best performing athlete, it will go for Joseph Ando, because he's been let's say the front man for Infantsipim when you talk about the 100 meters, 200 meters, 4x4 100 meters relay, and then the other track and field track.
Okay, just bring clarity for us. So Joseph Kofi Ando, he won the 100 meters and the 200 meters, correct?
Yes, he won both.
And then the Jonathan Nkrumah won 400 and 800, correct?
Yes, that's right. But he broke records in both races.
And both are students of Infantsipim, correct?
Yes, please.
What is the current standings now? We know that the overall winners of the Super Zonals in the Central region The leader is St. Augustine's College, who have won it 14 times. In fact, Sapim have won it 13 times. But it also looks like Disadel College is doing well this year. Who is looking more likely to win this year's Super Zonals overall?
I mean, undoubtedly, Infant Sapim are the most favorites as things stand now. But then there could be a shocker looking at the points at Disadel College have amassed. Augustine for me are nowhere near the first two. The first two Infant Sapim and then Adisa, you know. But for now, the standings clearly shows that Infant Sapim School are the most favorites to win this year's edition, and that could bring them level to St. Augustine's 14 times record.
Okay, and also, did you say that all the events have come to a close already?
Yes, at the moment, the announcement being made for the best DA school, best student athlete, best male athlete, best female athlete, and then other prizes being presented to best DA Jama school, and then the other minor.
So it means that that's the closing ceremony that's happening in Cape Coast right now.
Yes.
What about the girls' schools? Because the girls' schools, the undoubted overall top winners are Apam Senior High School. They have been phenomenal. They have an unassailable lead. I think they've won it 9 times. Then you have Wesley Girls, who have won it 5 times. They made quite the splash with the way they turned up as usual in the stadium in their green and yellow, fanning themselves with umbrellas. How have their performances been on the track and field compared to, because we know that off the track they have stolen the show. On the track, what's been the girls' performances like for these schools?
Oh, I think this year for me has been a massive call for these two girls' schools. I think Infantiman girls kind of tried to prove a point, but then that was nowhere to beat the other male schools. Wesley girls, Holy Child girls, I mean they couldn't make any point. I mean in this year's Super Zonals. Gone are the days where 2017, 2018, 2019 they were the top leaders in terms of the women categories. But this year they are nowhere to be seen, to be frank. And I think their recruitment policy is kind of different. They kind of focus more on academia rather than the sports side. That's what I think.
You're telling me that Wesley girls have not had any points so far in this year's competition?
No, that's not at all. They've not had any point.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. What I want to say there, if I say it, my wife will leave me. So let me keep my remarks to myself. She finished way gay. But let's go to Kumasi now and bring in Zando. Zando, are you there?
Yes, thank you. I'm here.
Yes. So he says that in Cape Coast. Karim, if you can take Joseph off, his line is really loud. Let's stay with Zando a bit. Okay, so let's see if we can get that line off, and then go to Zando, and then try and get a stable line through to Kumasi, because there's quite a lot happening there as well as far as that's concerned. TI, Amas, and all of that. Zando, thank you. We've gotten rid of Joseph. He was making noise. Zando, what's happening in Kumasi? At all the events over so far, which school has shown dominance? We know that historically Amas are the biggest winners of this competition. What's been happening? Any standard athletes so far? Any standard events so far? In the Ashanti regional Super Zonals competition?
I mean, friends, for Ashanti region, it's been great so far as far as the Super Zonals concerned at the Babaya for Stadium. The sporting rivalry between Private College and Otoku Senior High School appears to continue, because these schools are noted for their academic knowledge, right? But when it comes to sports, they are demonstrating to the likes of Oke and Amas that they are out there to compete with them for the battle of supremacy. Because yesterday, Private College actually finished on top of the standings after winning 200 meters, both gold and silver. in the 200 meters boys division to actually brighten their defense. You know, they are the defending champions, all right? And for the women in the 200 meters, and Louise won it. And then for the 200 meters, Louise won it. And Tiama came and they won silver in the 200 meters. So, like I mentioned earlier, for the boys division, Pembrokeshire College won the day. They led the table, and OWAS followed it closely with 30 points. Pembrokeshire College had 37 points, followed by OWAS who had 37 points. And back for the women, and St. Louis led, and of course they were followed by. And sorry, for the women, yes, unfortunately, had girls who led the table, and they were followed by St. Louis. But you know, yesterday, events largely were eliminating events. So it is expected that the most of the finals will be taking place today. That was the expectation today. And today we've had a couple of events today. Girls 100 meters hurdle, Sarah and Cancer of Amas won the girls 100 meters hurdle in a time of 14.97 seconds. For the boys, Malahari after of Owa, the people actually won the boys 110 meters hurdle in a time of 14.47 seconds. Okes won the 1,000 meters men's relay event, whilst Louise won the 1,000 meters medley for the women's division in there. Now let's talk about the 400 meters hurdle boys. Bosman Kuti Apia of Pembrokeshire College just made a record. I mean, he won that event in there. But before we focus on Bosman Kuti Apia, let's talk about friends. The 4 by 200 meters for the boys division. Pembrokeshire College has just started.
That's too bad. Okay, so we'll try and get Zando back to give us a rundown of what's happening in the Ashanti region's Super Zonals. But guys, you've been listening to Joseph and Zando as well. A couple of standout things. Wesley girls. I hope Joseph is accurate in that report, because if he said they scored 0 points and they've not scored 0 points, we'll have problem.
But I doubt. 0.
We have problem. Okay, let's get back to Zando. Zando, you went off there. Sorry about that. You were
exactly. So,
go on.
I was talking about the 4 by 200 meters. Pembrokeshire College just won that event in a time of 1 minute and 26 seconds. Remember that. I mean, this is a record at the moment as far as Ashanti Regional Super Zonal are concerned. The previous record stood at 1.27 seconds, and it was held by Oku IC. So largely, these two, I mean, some of these schools are dominating the Ashanti Regional Super Zonal. Pembrokeshire College was in there, and CIMAS is in there. Of course, there's work for the boys division, but for the girls division, it is being dominated by Yaz and Louise and the other schools. But friends, you are asking me the standout performance. I mean, there's this guy for Antoine High School. His name is Roland Owa. He broke a record in the 4 bulls event. 4 bulls. The current record, the previous record stood at 3.60 meters. And the interesting thing is that this record was, made by another student of Antoine High School. His name is that. But yesterday, Roland Yaboa of Antoine High School broke this record and made his own record at the height of 3.80 meters. So Roland Yaboa of Antoine High School now holds the record for 4 bulls at the height of 3.80 meters. I had the opportunity of engaging the team coordinator of Antoine High School, and friends, he told me that, I mean, they've left the other sporting disciplines the big to care to work and Pembrokeshire College on this. So when it comes to the core bulls, he wants to demonstrate to the people of Ashanti that Antoine High School is on top. And that is why back-to-back records have been shattered among Roland Yaboa and Evan. And there's this gentleman who ran for Konomu. His name is Hayford Yaboa. Hayford Ade. And yesterday, the interesting thing is that he won the heart of the expectations and questions who are the Babaya sports team, because I tell you what, he excelled in the sprint event. But this guy is physically challenged. So can you imagine a physically challenged person, disabled person, dominating sprint events? And so, I mean, there's a lot of attention on the 100 meters final today because of this guy, Hayford Ade of Konomu Seniority. So, like I said, Pembrokeshire College and OWAS, they are battling for the top spot at the moment, but that was yesterday. And a lot can change today because most of the final events will be taking place later today at the Robaya Sports in France.
Zando, you mentioned Amaz. So obviously, there's a story that we saw about Amaz students winning the 5,000 meters, and they have Kenyan students in Amaz High School. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Why does Amaz have students? Are these students student athletes that they scouted, or these are just Kenyans whose parents live in Ghana and they just happen to go to Amas? How did this happen?
I mean, friends, you know, when it comes to sports in Ashanti region, previously used to be Amas and okay. And these guys always start their next wide in terms of scouting for sporting talent, you know, across the continent. And that's what they do. So Amas will tell you that, yes, they've gone beyond Ghana to ask to scout for talent across the South region. And that's why they have athletes, you know, who come from abroad, the other part of the African continent, to school at Amas. And when they are good enough, I mean, they will be eligible to compete for CMAS. But on this particular issue, I actually approached the authorities of Amas, and it's well appear they are tight with at the moment. They want to finish the competition before they come clear on that.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you very much, Zando. Stephen Zando is our correspondent in Kumasi, West for Love FM, giving us all the rundown from the Ashanti Regional Super Zonal athletics competition. So a lot of very interesting stuff, but I think one of the key things that he mentioned is the performance of the Antwerp High School pole vaulter. And I'm very impressed with that because, 3.80 meters might not sound impressive for male pole vaulter at this stage, but this is one of the first few athletes that I've seen on a local stage that even knows how to use the pole in the first place. So for me, that in itself was really impressive to see. And it does show you that he's got some ability there, and if he can be helped, he will do well. What stands out also in fans of him, it's obviously the performance of Joseph Kofi Ando. And yesterday, Joseph Ayenga Walter, you heard him on the phone there. He spoke to an FSFM Senior High School tutor who said that all students of the school are working on sending him abroad to a university in the US. I don't even think that they need to do that. I think Ghana Athletics would already be on that, because that's one thing that they've done really well. When you're good, they will find a ways of sending you abroad to continue to polish your talent. Let's go over to Zoom now, because it appears that Ogasco, who are record winners of this competition this year, they're not seeing anything. They don't see anything. Nathaniel Atto is an old student of Agasco. He went to Cape Coast to cover the event, and after day one, the team was not looking good, so he has run away. Natino, what happened there yesterday, my brother?
You go watch out, you for watch out. We know like that. Danny K, relax in the corner. Danny K has intentionally gone to wear light blue. I don't know what the light blue is. I don't know what kind of cryptic message Danny K is trying to send by wearing light blue. Presex color is a darker shade of blue, I beg. So if you want to shade, there's no problem.
Yesterday, when the updates were coming, in fact, Spin was winning everything. Nat said they should slow down with the updates. I said, my brother.
Yeah, Charlie. Look.
But you were there yesterday. Tell us about the atmosphere. That was incredible.
Right. So first of all, we have to commend the Central Regional Sports Committee that organizes this. I love the atmosphere. It was amazing. The students were upbeat, but there are a few things that we need to look at. Obviously, every other year when we gather for the sports festival, there is the discovery of amazing talents. And already there's talk about how some of these students are being targeted by universities outside of here and all of that. But there are a few key elements within the general organization of this, which fall into the bigger picture of education and the reforms that we're trying to have in the educational sector. Let me tell you one of them. Yesterday, for instance, I had a minimum of 2 sports masters tell me that the free SHS policy, and mind you, this is not politics. We're not talking politics here. We're just looking at realities on the ground. Now, these housemasters I had these conversations with were telling me that the free SHS policy has affected the availability of their athletes for these kinds of programs. Because when you draw a schedule or a schedule for training to get these athletes ready for these kinds of competitions, most of the time you have one set of your athletes back at home because of the system they are currently running. Put that aside. I believe that the heads of institutions must take this very seriously. And this must be, this must become a regimental, element of everyday school activity or yearly school activity, such that it becomes a compulsory activity for every student in a school. Listen, you can imagine that you had the full complement of all students in each school in the central region. The stands would have been full, and that would have meant a different conversation when it comes to brands that come and support, a different conversation for the visibility, the kind of coverage that we want to give, when it comes to the media, and many other things.
The competitive.
But what it is that some heads of the institutions come, they settle in, and they think that sports is a third or fourth option. So they pay no attention whatsoever. And we see it in the results. I don't want to mention any names, but we see clearly those who are taking their time to invest in sport. Why is it that we're sitting in this part of the world, Fent, and we're realizing that, we are now realizing that sport is such a big platinum mine that contributes to different aspects of our lives as a nation, away from the fact that it contributes to the economy, it contributes to our socialization, and it also contributes to the very big problem of youth unemployment. Sports has proven a big solution to youth unemployment. And we're always sitting in this part of the world and thinking that sports has to be the third or the fourth option. If you were there at the Cape Coast Stadium yesterday, if anybody was at the Babara Stadium yesterday, and you saw the atmosphere, you saw the enthusiasm, it was just priceless. And this is such a big platinum mine that we're sitting on, which is waiting to explode. But what is important here, Fentu, is that we all need as a collective to understand the kind of product that we have. Look, I was talking about recruitment, and you see the recruitment policy in every senior high school rests very heavily on who is heading the institution. So when you have a head who is sports savvy and who understands the value of the Super Zonals, the intercollegiate sports competitions, they invest in recruiting. And so they task their sports masters and physical education masters to go into the villages, go into the towns, and go and get these greenhorns. They come and train them, and they perform. And clearly, in Fountain School, a Dinaman Senior High School, and a Futu Senior High School in the central region have been topmost when it comes to this recruitment policy. When you go to Kumasi as well, you realize that Prempeh College have a similar track record, and they have a similar policy which they are following to the letter. And so this is a message that goes to all of us. I believe that every other year, the kind of coverage that we give to, or the kind of light that we draw to this platform gives encouragement to other media houses to do same. I'm already looking forward to next year to see what will happen in the Ashanti region and in the central region, because these are two very big hubs of track and field athletics in our country. And you can imagine the kind of headache that the Ghana Athletics will have if they have to do a recruitment policy for all of this. I know that there are, the guys are all in the studio. Everybody will be contributing to.
Yeah. Okay. Nat is frozen. No,
the show. Let me wrap this up. They understand recruitment. They understand, they understand the idea of growing these talents from the very word go. The other issue of infrastructure in individual institutions, individual schools, is also a whole subject to be discussed for another day. Because while the old boys and girls of these institutions are doing their best, the state has to also make it a policy, just like we buy buses, through the GET fund to fund, STEM education in these institutions. It is a serious conversation we need to have, and we have to go through legislation, find the funding, have a sports fund, and make sure that this sector is breathing. Look, Australia have done it. They've been successful with it. The US have done it. They've been successful with it. Ghana can also pick from these examples and replicate it here. And trust me, anytime there is this kind of event, the managers and the handlers at the top, which is Ghana Athletics, will have a headache because there'll be so much to select. I mean, these are only 2 regions we're talking about. We haven't even gone to Eastern region. We haven't gone to the Western region. We haven't gone to all the Northern regions where there is amazing talent, a lot of raw talent that requires a lot of training by the trainers who have already been trained. So there is a way bigger conversation to have. I would like to commend the whole organizing committee and the security agencies. Let me say this. This is my final comment. Fento, you do remember that a couple of months ago, we saw some disturbing images of some students in Accra who were students from some of the schools in Accra, holding machetes, trying to fight with students from other schools during that period. Well, there was a very important strategy that was mapped out by the organizing committee in collaboration with the security agencies. And I would like to salute whoever and everybody else who contributed to this decision. There were loads and loads of plainclothes security men in Cape Coast at the Cape Coast Stadium. I saw some of them myself. This is not hearsay. I saw some of them, and they were placed in the stands. They were placed, in the perimeter around the area, and it was just amazing. And that is probably the reason why we haven't seen or heard any kind of incident come from this particular event in Cape Coast. I was in Cape Coast, so I can talk for Cape Coast.
Yeah.
So let's commend everybody, and let's look forward to having a more improved platform. And of course, while we improve the platform, there are other subtopics that we need to discuss. There are other areas that we need to strengthen at the local level, which is at the schools and the colleges. And then by extension, we can start looking at how we can have a proper smooth, transition system that can transition them into the tertiary institutions and then eventually get them to feature for our nation and not necessarily go out there and naturalize for other established nations in world sport.
Very well. Thank you very much, Nat, for that valuable contribution. Nat was at the Central Regional Inter-Schools competition yesterday, and everything he's saying, obviously from his years of experience covering this competition. But unfortunately, his school is not doing well. Nat himself didn't contribute athletically when he was in school. Now he wants other people's children to go and win for Gasco for him to come and shout Action Kuti. He's for him to come and shout.
He's competing radiotically.
The very final one. Charlie, guys, let's put everything aside. Joseph is the next big deal for us in track athletics, in 100 meters, in 200 meters. That boy was running a little shy of the 10-second mark at this age with all the challenges of wind and all the dynamics. His confidence is up there. He looks like a very disciplined young man, and I trust that the system, and I mean the whole collective of all of us, will guard and guide his talent so that he will not only fly the flag of Infantipim School High, but eventually will get the opportunity to compete for Ghana at the highest level possible, have longevity, and set some big records for us, and win some medals as well, and also make some good money for himself, for his family, and be a comfortable person. So kudos to Joseph of Infantipim School. Kudos to all his handlers, the head of departments, the coaches, and all of that. They have done a wonderful job in recruiting him and shaping him to become the poster boy of the Central Regional, Super Zonals of 2025. We, the Titogasters, guys, we're fine gentlemen, and we like to speak the truth. But you guys have to talk about my 5,000 guy who won the gold yesterday. You have to talk about him. Nabila, talk about the 5,000 winner for men.
Thank you, Nat.
Talk about the 5,000 winner. Augusto boy.
You mentioned that Joseph Kofi Ando guy. He's got a personality as well of a superstar, to be honest. This was him after he led Infantipim to the 4x200 meter relay victory yesterday. He was asked, that was before, after he also won the 200 meters, before he won the 100 meters today. And he said there is nobody that can beat him. This is what he said.
All I can say is it's all about training, yes, and have a respect for your leaders.
All right.
Training and respect, that's all. If you
If
you have confidence, right now actually you can do it. Because you have confidence. You know yourself you can make it. Actually you can make it.
So right now you think you are your only competition?
Yes, actually.
There's nobody in Central Region.
There's nobody.
There's no one in Central Region who is faster than you.
There's no one.
So you have done the 200 meters.
Yes, please.
You have done the 4x200 meters.
Yes, please.
We are expecting you to do the 100 meters.
Actually.
Are you definitely going to do the 100 meters tomorrow?
Sure, 100.
It's easy work. Soft work for you.
Soft, actually. Soft.
Nice.
The reporter seems like he's hype man.
And in fact, he's actually leading the conversation here.
The reporter was his hype man. And he did win that 100 meters as well. So, anyway, this is Game Plan 99.7 Joy FM is brought to you by Betway and Petrosol. Petrosol says, do you want to fill your tank and have your dreams energized? And look no further, drive straight to Petrosol now. We are celebrating 10 years of excellence. Petrosol, the National Best Quality Awards winner, rewards you with the Energizing Dreams promo. 3 draws down, 3 more to go. We don't share tricycles, motorbikes, TVs, fridges, and even fuel coupons. But the best part is there are 2 brand new Suzuki Espressos waiting for 2 lucky winners. So rush to your nearest Petrosol station, fill your tank with quality fuel in full quantity, and enter the draw. This is your chance to win big. The promo ends on the 31st of March. Petrosol, energizing dreams. Also, Betway. Are you ready to get way more chances to win with Betway? Every single day, you have the key to unlock 5 free spins on Mega Money Wheel, where you stand to win a massive 1 million Ghana Cedi jackpot. So what are you waiting for? Log into betway.com.gh today and take your spin. All thanks to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. It's regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. When we come back from this, I will ask the guys briefly about what they think we can do to take these Super Zonals and inter-school sports to the next level, and then we'll get into all the other issues that we said we will talk about. So do stay with us. We're back in exactly 90 seconds. We're back here with Game Plan on 99.7 Joy FM. Hits 103.9 FM, proudly sponsored by Petrosol and Betway. But let me tell you about CDD Ghana. When politicians want our votes, they do campaign tours. And after the campaign promises and election victories, they do thank you tours. Do politicians ever go back to the citizens to ask them what their expectations are? And do the citizens get to engage government about issues that matter to them? For the first time ever, CDD Ghana Citizen Expectation Town Halls train will travel across the country, collecting and collating the expectations of citizens of their government. It's starting from the 25th of February, so it's already started, and it's going to go all the way to the 20th of March. The 10 regional town halls and the 4 town halls for the youth, the women, people living with disabilities, and the aged. These town halls will be crowned by a multi-stakeholder conference where collated citizen expectations will be discussed and presented to government. So join the conversation now and share your expectations on CDD Ghana's social media platforms using the hashtag Citizen Expectation GH from the 25th of February till the 20th of March 2025. Follow the Ghana Citizen Expectation Town Halls on all CDD Ghana social media platforms. The CDD Ghana Citizen Expectation Town Halls is powered by the Adom and Joy brands of the Multimedia Group with generous support from the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO. Better Malt is also here when the clock strikes noon and you start to fantasize about lunch. It's been a busy day to some hot it's been a busy day, so some hot wache would be perfect. But then again, some banku and pepper and fish too wouldn't be bad at all, would it? Maybe some rice and stew with some fully loaded Ghanaian salad by the side. Well, whatever it's for lunch, we know the perfect beverage to make your lunchtime complete. Elevate your lunchtime experience with Better Malt and discover richness in every sip. It's crafted to perfection with the finest ingredients and fortified with vitamin C. Better Malt injects a burst of richness into your day, so grab a bottle of Better Malt and discover the rich taste of 100% true malt today. And for me, this morning I got wache, and then I went to buy wagashi. They sold the wagashi to me 1 piece for 10 Ghana cedis. Wagashi, one piece, fried piece, the small one. The whole fresh wagashi cry is how much? Obiani the problem in this country. My problem is the price of wagashi in this country. So please, Magajia, do something about the price. Well, they said, oh, the fuel price has increased, and this. The cow, does it cause you fuel? The cow milk, is it petrol?
That story of the guy who said, was it we boy akosro? Yeah, TV talk. Na Ukraine war any COVID-19
Charlie, I was shocked to the bone. But the wagashi small piece is at 10 Ghana.
It's not. I don't know going to transport the wagashi to your location. They have to include the transportation fare.
You see, wagashi has never been the main transport of anything. Wagashi is the sort of thing that you transport after they've loaded corn or they've loaded charcoal, then they'll put small wagashi on the side. Nobody ever takes a truck to say, I'm going to buy wagashi and bring to Accra. You see, there are some things we don't transport them alone. You understand?
Yeah.
You come and
the demand for it is
champion.
Is not that.
The wagashi, the 10 city wagashi after 2 bites is finished.
No, so why did you buy?
See, they are just telling
you have changed your mind.
Buy the fresh one.
I'm going to fry the wagashi myself.
No, actually, this is the point. See, there are certain things there make you no shy. And they can't buy something, you come out and look my man. I say no.
Charlie, so today the watcher didn't watch it at all. My mood.
No, the first experience I will buy. I don't want any on.
Yeah, no. You see, I bought. I didn't want to embarrass myself.
Yes, buy the fresh.
But the point is that after I bought, then my hat.
Because you see,
so I didn't enjoy the.
You see, that dish you paid for, no.
Yeah?
That is like 6 or 7 slices of the fresh one.
Yes, and the fresh one right now they say is like 100. And people, I tweeted it, and people say it's true. The thing has become expensive.
Oh no!
Somebody said he stopped buying the moment the small fried piece exceeded 5 CD. He stopped. Charlie, everything is costly. What a way to kick off 2025 though. Holiday Inn Airport City is now Palms by Eagles, offering a fresh, delightful experience. The newly improved hotel is ready to welcome you with unmatched hospitality in the heart of Ghana. They're offering Sunday brunch with assorted flavors at a discounted rate of 300 Ghana Cedi. So come experience elevated hospitality like never before at Palms by Eagles. Achu, quick comments on Interco and then we'll move it on. Listen, we should have a national. I think ultimately that's what's left now. The national inter-schools competition. We don't have that. Everything is regional.
That should be the grand vision.
Yes.
But there are issues that need addressing ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them may have political connotations, and I don't envy the education minister. So Nats highlighted one of those about how the multi-track system created certain problems because you were not having all the cohorts of students converging or being available to train at the same time. So it is possible that for the 4x100 meter team, the person who runs the anchor leg is available for this term, but the person, your best starter, is not available. You get me? So all those complexities need to be figured out. But in terms of the event itself, I think that we've done enough to have arrived at the point where we should improve our scoring system. Everyone celebrates the times our sprinters are recording until we leave secondary school. Then you start doubting it. Right? Because, look, Joseph's 10.13 looks very impressive. But is that how credible is that time?
I can tell you that it's not going to be accepted in anywhere quarters except in the Super Zonal level.
But this is
because
also the most important
period
of their development.
Yeah.
If you take from, let's say the final 2 years at the GSS level, and then you add the SSS, the 5 or the 6 years, you are talking about from between averagely age 11 to age 16.
Yeah.
that is 5 years of poor training, not having access to any proper facilities. And that's why the other points that Nat made about the schools not leaving the sports policy to the interest of the headmaster. And if you have a national policy where, so for example, Kofi Adams talks about working with Get Fund, trying to get something out of it to improve the schools and colleges games. If you do that, based on how much money you are able to set aside, you can then go and say that, you know what, we are actually going to insist that each school would have a PE teacher, not just someone who is interested in sports, but someone who has the minimum requirements for training kids at that level. So there is a budget to pay for this, but maybe in order to cut costs, it will not be someone who only takes PE lessons. I don't think we are at that stage where we can pay someone for that, because we don't even dedicate enough time anyway to sports. So maybe you find one of the lecturers with interest in sports, or any of the teacher trainees, when they are going through it, you identify those with interest in sports and then push them to specialize in that area. So he could be the chemistry teacher, but also is qualified to take the kids through the various training regimes that they have to. So a big part of all of the conversations we would have about the scoring system, about the equipment, about even the quality of instructors that they have and the interest of the school, all comes back to the issue of funding. I'm just going to conclude by saying this. The youth and resource centers, Kofi Adams has to audit it, because a lot of these teachers, and yesterday in Joe's report and before in Nat's reports, we had the instructors highlighting the fact that the training facilities have to improve. You cannot tell me that you spent tens of millions of dollars into youth resource centers across the country, and the secondary schools that are close to them cannot use them. So investigate how much has gone into these projects. Get proper experts to go to. Koforidua, for example, a lot of people have issues with the undulating nature of the tartan tracks. Is it internationally certified? All of the other ones, because they have to be. And make them accessible to these schools, not just for football, but also for athletics, because they need the tracks, right? Because I don't think that it would make sense for us to bypass the youth resource centers that already are there to go and start a whole new project of sport infrastructure. Yes, it is regrettable that they have not been completed, but it is someone's job to audit it, understand why that is the case. If it is an issue of funding, find the money, because we cannot say that because the original budget that was set aside for it was only numbers on paper, but no proper source of funding. And so because of that, we're allowing the millions of dollars that have already been sunk into this to waste away. We owe it to these kids. There is a lot of talent coming through, but the quality of instructors that you hire, the quality of facilities that they train on, how intentional you are in terms of the leadership and the policy that you roll out, so that Nat's secondary school teacher cannot decide that because they are interested in national science and maths quiz, those athletes who could have been the next Azamati or whoever would miss out on the critical 5 or 6 year period that they need to hone their talents.
Fantastic. Listen, if you are listening to us and you have thoughts on how we can elevate the secondary school athletics system and turn these athletes into proper pros, ideas are welcome. I think ultimately one idea that has to happen is the national inter-school championship.
But GS used to have one. I don't know what happened to it.
So they need to get back, and they need to collaborate a bit more with the Ghana Athletics to organize that.
I covered 3 national sports festival competitions.
Yeah. So because imagine bringing 3 schools from Ashanti region, 3 schools from Central, 3 schools from all these regions together for a 2-day national inter-school festival at the University of Ghana Stadium, or at the Babaya Stadium, or at the Cape Coast Stadium. It would be an absolute festival, you understand? And ultimately that is where all the top athletes from all the regions will converge there. Yeah. And then from there, you can then choose the top ones that emerge. At the moment, we don't know. for example, whoever wins the 100 meter, and actually says we have issues with the timing. So whoever wins the 100 meters in the Ashanti Regional Inter-Schools competition, we don't know how he squares up against Joseph Ando.
Even at the university level, we don't.
So that's the point. We don't know because they will not have a national inter-schools competition. So we can't sit down here and flat out say that Joseph Kofi Ando is the best high school 100 meter.
And
you know, because also it's hand timed. So maybe the one timing in Kumasi, his hand is slow. So he crosses the line.
And in fact, even within the same race, even within the same
race,
the one who finished it has a faster time than the
it
one
is
who
possible with hand timing. Yes.
It's
possible. That's the issue. It's the issue with hand timing.
If they can do it and bring the athletes to say Legon, where the tracks are standardized, where we can have electronic timer for these athletes to compete,
it would be fantastic.
And those times will actually be recognized if,
of course,
submit them to World Athletics. It's possible.
Last one, Kofi Adams. When you interviewed him, he mentioned this gets fun thing. After we've heard the president's first State of the Nation's address, and he's mentioned grassroots football and all of these things, it is the sector minister's job to come out and tell us what the plan is, especially around this time when there are conversations about.
I don't know where he is, whether he's gone to Cape Coast or Kumasi. He has to be at one of these places, but clearly he can see that.
And when you go there, you tell people what you are going to do about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I agree. So I think we are all in agreement that the GES, Ghana Athletics, and the Ministry of Youth and Sport need to collaborate better, and then we need to have a national inter-school competition.
We are wasting too
much time.
And in fact,
because that's why Jamaica has the champs. All the best high schools come together.
I said, there's this fire service guy I know, Chris.
Yes.
He was a crazy sprinter back in SHS.
You see?
These days now he's a fire service. The only advantage is that when the fire pine, he's the first to get to the water tender. He's the first. He's always the first to get it. That's the only advantage. But aside that, wasted talent.
One of the excuses they actually gave was COVID. But COVID is many years.
And
the last event they did was in 2019, which was at the Borgatanga Secondary School. That was the last sports festival.
And we also need to stop this business of taking it to places where the times will mean nothing.
And even the facilities are not available.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean by the times will mean nothing. And it's that lack of collaboration with Ghana Athletics and Ministry of Youth and Sports. That is why we have literally the two biggest inter-school competitions, Central Region and Ashanti Region, happening on the same day. And even if Ghana Athletics wanted to help, they have one electronic timer. Where do they take it?
Where do they take it to?
So no collaboration. You understand? So all of these things need to change. So we collaborate better so they can also spread these resources. They have a very lean team. So if you send people to Kumasi, the team is finished.
They tried one last year. They tried the conversations last year, but it was quite inconclusive. Hopefully, they will get back to the table and get everything sorted out.
Muftar, since you're on the floor, tell me about this business of Black Stars leadership changes. What's happened? You broke the story 2 days ago about Thomas Partey turning down the offer of assistant Black Stars captain, and that Jordan Ayu's now been made substantive captain. What is wrong? What is not wrong? I beg your pardon. What is going on with Otuado? What is with these changes? Like, what is this all about?
Well, I actually feel that there's a certain gap, and that gap is a relationship. And I remember one of the things I was told was about how it appears he doesn't have relationship with the players. And in fact, the players don't even have relationship with officials. So there's a huge gap. But in terms of the decision to make Jordan Ayew the substantive captain of the Black Stars based on the intel that I got, it was purely because of his longevity in the team and his commitment to the national team. That was a key reason. And in fact, I was actually made to understand that it is not Otto's decision.
Huh?
It is not Otto's decision. It is a decision from his employers. And it appears when Otto was having the conversations with the people, he said the FA said we should do this. The FA said we should do that. So if the FA says Jordan should be their captain, what do you say as a man who is always in the locker room with them? as the man who is always in the dressing room, as a man who speaks to the players often. But I do understand where he also comes from, because over the years, since his first time as head coach of the Black Stars, many things have happened behind the scenes where sometimes he's not able to stamp so much authority on some of the decisions he wants to take because his employers disagree. And just recently, we all heard Lai Kinson talk about how a few days to a competition, an official is calling to say that, okay, player A, B, C, and all that. We all remember the last press conference he had prior to the game against, was it Angola or Niger, when he spoke about how Jordan was going to be the captain, Jiku, and then Mohamed Kudus. That is the leadership structure he wanted to create. And there was a question of what if Thomas Partey comes back? And that was where he made it clear to us that even Thomas Partey wanted to come for the matches against Angola and Niger, but he decided against it and all that. And at this point, based on the conversations that have happened, Jordan will lead. Thomas Partey was asked to deputize Jordan, per information.
Okay.
And Thomas Partey says no.
Okay.
He's not willing to be a deputy. He's not willing to be part of the leadership structure of the national team. However,
who thought it was a good idea to make Partey captain under the current circumstances?
That one. It was CK Akono. It was CK Akono.
No, I'm not talking about before. I'm saying that this time.
No. So when CK was appointed head coach of the team,
you don't understand.
You don't understand.
I'm saying that after the whole issue of the Kudus, Partey, Jordan, Otto coming to say that, Partey is no longer captain. Then we asked him that he said Partey even wanted to come. It was his decision not to.
Invite him.
Clearly a disciplinary measure. With all of that history and knowing that Partey's reality is that now he has to pick and choose which games he can turn up for.
Yes.
Who thought that it was a good idea to?
Okay, so the point is they didn't want to destabilize the current structure that was put out, where Andre was the captain, Partey was deputy to Andre, Richard Ofori, Amati.
Ha!
That was.
They didn't want to. Oh, Chale.
no, I did come. They didn't want to destabilize the structure.
Chale.
But now they've gotten to the point where they believe that Jordan is one of the most committed players in the team. He's the senior most player within the team. There was the other aspect of the conversation of if they want like first come first serve to be first come should be captain, then deputy and all that. There was a conversation of Jiku, and then some people said, but Jiku too just came. He came and made the likes of Kamal Din Suleiman and Mohamed Kudus in the team. So why would Jiku be ahead of Kudus and Kamal Din and co in the team? But one of the arguments that was advanced was the fact that they believe Jiku has got some leadership qualities within the team and that Kudus should grow into the role as a leader within the national team. Maybe people actually believe that in the long term, he's likely to be the key man who will be leading the team. So that was what actually happened in terms of the conversation. And the number 10 JC, I was also told that he's been asked to drop it.
Simple.
He should drop the number 10 jersey. The boy says, it wasn't my decision in the first place to wear the number 10 jersey.
We said this. We said it here.
It was handed to me.
It was forced on him.
Yeah.
There's a difference between handed and forced.
It was handed to him.
It was forced on him.
They say you should wear. Now he says, if you ask me to wear the shirt, now you're telling me to drop it. Why will I drop it?
Hey. Why now he wants it? Kuru.
So we went to see what was going to happen in March. But one thing that I also found in terms of my conversations with people is that most of the players do not appear to have a certain relationship. So let me just cite the example of, say, players in England or players in Italy. Oftentimes, hitherto we used to see the likes of Suleiman Tari, Michael Essien, and co. Sometimes they go for lunch, they do all manner of things together. Some of these players are there a year, two more. They've never spoken to each other on the phone even before. They've never met. They don't have anything. So people believe that kind of atmosphere within the team is not good enough. So something must change. So what is going to change? And how are they going to change that? I really don't know how they're going to
do that. I don't blame.
You can't force it.
Yeah, I don't blame.
You can't force it. The Asian example.
They grew up together basically. They were in the same under 17.
Some of them even went to the same secondary schools, and then when it was the time for the Super Zonals, they were there together with the regional teams. Some competed against each other. That was where they were spotted and then drafted into the Starlets.
Basically known each other since.
No, but there were some of them too that they built a relationship within the national team.
But I'm saying that those were organic.
When you have a majority of the group knowing each other from when you are an outsider.
Okay, so let me just mention one thing. I don't want to go into so much detail, but let me just mention one thing. One of the things that some of the people that I've had the privilege of speaking to, one of the things one of them said was that when you walk into a national team where the atmosphere within the team is not good enough, it's very difficult for anyone to settle.
Of course.
We all talk about chemistry all the time.
And vice versa, like Cranton was saying. Yeah. When it's settled and people are happy and another comes in, it's easier for them to integrate.
To integrate. But I feel that this is a national team. Even no matter how experienced you are, if you walk into this national team, the current atmosphere.
So the environment is toxic. Water is wet. We've said it many times. I really don't want
We've known this for. Yeah. They've been in office. The current FA has been running the national team for almost 6 years now. Almost 6 years now. At this point, we should not be discussing some of that. These are not actions you should be taking. At this point, and you see, my bigger disappointment is that Otto was a member of the Black Stars at a point. He became part of the coaching staff, and at the time when he became part of the coaching staff, he saw firsthand the fractious relationship and how the team was heavily divided. So he has the experience as a player, he has the experience as a manager. Even if he didn't grow up in Ghana like some people say, which for me is completely irrelevant, he has enough experience to have properly understood the culture of the national team, what the 10 jersey means to Ghanaians and what the captaincy means to Ghanaians. So when he's making decisions on these two subjects, we expect his decisions to reflect a certain appreciation of the nuances that exist of the recent history of the set of the characters who are there, and manage it in a manner that clearly improves the situation. Unfortunately, Otto's handling of the captaincy and even the Black Stars, and I didn't think we'll get to that point, or I didn't think it was a possibility, has left us in a situation where we almost have a worse dressing room than
he came to me.
Which is crazy. Yeah. Because the personalities you have now are not any more difficult to deal with.
These are not even big personalities, actually.
Cranton, you'd raise your hand.
Sir, please.
Yes.
Okay. But I think the timelines are important.
Okay.
The Yawa happened during the AFCON qualifiers. Serious.
That was the one against Sudan.
Yeah, that's when the thing happened. And if you remember, was it before the Niger, the last 2 games?
Yeah. Angola.
Yeah, Angola and Niger. When he announced that Jordan will be captain and Jiku and Kudus will deputize. Yeah. Then, after the qualifiers, when Henry came here, Henry was categorical. He said Jordan is captain. I asked him a follow-up, so what happens to Partey? Then he says Jordan is captain, Jiku is assistant with Kudus. So that decision had been made. Then we saw Otto make trips around. Yeah. So those trips were not necessarily to convince Partey to be assistant. That was done before, and he had already rejected it. Yeah. So it was like he was going around trying to make peace and trying to settle differences between the players. But unfortunately for him, after he had finished setting everything, somebody too went to make trips. You see, that's the issue. Fent, that's a serious issue.
I'm listening.
And we're saying it the other time. You understand? Yeah, they say we are lying. Somebody went to make the same trips that the head coach has also going to make. And you see...
Was it the January trips?
And I'm saying that
Cranton, this is Joy 99.7 FM. Okay, at Joy News, we are fearless.
Keto Kleku also went to make trips. He also went to make trips, and you see, the issue is when we're talking about when the psychologists came in. Remember, I told you that psychologists will do his work. everything will be cool. Then continue where he says something. Then it could undo everything that the psychologist.
When you freeze, there's an area I need to mention. Yeah.
The issue was between the players and the head coach. That captaincy, it was straight down to Otto. To be frank, it was an Otto issue.
It was on him.
And I'll even credit the FA.
And the FA gave him fire.
They gave him fire and they intervened because they have been with these players longer than Otto. And the most obvious choice, we even said it before the announcement, the most obvious choice, if we were going to change anything, Jordan.
Yeah.
That was the most obvious choice.
The Kudus decision was a poor one.
It was a poor one. You can't force it. The guy said he's not ready. You can't force it on him. Then Otto said, okay, I've already done Yawa, so I've accepted. Now Jordan is captain. FA has intervened and they have solved the issue. But when the person himself goes round and he's saying, oh boss, I'm sorry, he and Partey, and when they were chatting, then Arteta even came. That's why Arteta didn't buy striker and then hey. It's true. Otto told him that he trusts his first 19. So it's Otto.
I like Sky Habits. The German.
So unfortunately for Otto Addo, after he had gone round and he had made all these things, Ketokreku too has gone round. But you see, the players and the FA president, if you know, they also don't have a very good relationship.
No.
Thank you.
Especially after the
I can't think far beating the head who are you blasters.
They didn't feel respected
at all. And Ketokreku himself didn't necessarily apologize after that incident. So the trips he took, the fear is he has undone what Otto Addo went to do. That's a serious fear. No, I'm telling you the honest truth. I'm telling you the honest truth. At least.
But to be fair, he went with Steven up here.
Yes, which I think was a very good move. But you see, when Coutinho is talking, it's very difficult to
Capito will keep quiet.
Bossu, Charlie, where you are going? It's very difficult. Like we know Coutinho, you understand? At least from one or two footballers that I have spoken to after the incident, it's like we've gone back to say, like, it's not like they are angry, but it's like, you understand? And for me, that's an issue. Like, intervene. And I'm saying this story because I will credit the FE for seeing when Otto Addo did the Yawa and they intervened. It was a smart move. But then when he's gone around and he's going to make peace with them, leave it like that. If anything, send Stephen Appiah because he has the respect. You don't need to go with him. Send him, let him go around and then add to what Otto has done.
That's why he was doing when the politics was happening. They say he was sick.
It was while the politics was happening.
Yes.
Oh no, but he was sick.
Yeah, but he was also, he said it. I didn't say it.
Yeah.
When he went to Kumasi, he said that he was doing some national assignment and then he also.
No, but he did that one. Then he
That's
fell
where
sick.
it came from.
Yeah. So as for the sickness, he was sick.
So one of the you mentioned something very interesting there. What's the name of the Arsenal training guy? Is it Colney or something? That the Arsenal training Colney. So that was where, in fact, so the day Otto went there, training was ongoing and he had to wait.
Yeah. I know the story.
So
I can tell you. I know that then I will go way back.
So he had to wait at Colney for the team to finish training before the meeting happened.
He was sitting in the lobby. He was eating biscuit and milk. I'm telling you.
Hey, Clancy, were you there?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I said me Arsenal right now. Oh,
Biscuit and
milk. Just as you mentioned, there's something.
What brand of milk?
The FA president was also going around. You went to the UK. Was it somewhere December or January?
Late December.
You met certain players and did not meet certain players.
Intentional or timing was just off?
Maybe timing was off, but some of the people did not see it like that.
Did they want him to
That's
come?
the issue. No, you see, the issue is, let me just tell you.
You see. When you ask me this question, you say we are fearless and independent. I'll go and say something.
You see, the trip from Otto was very specific.
Yeah.
It was to solve the captaincy Yawa. But you see, when you are making public appearances like that, the communication needs to be on point.
Yeah.
Because if I'm, let's say, Kamal Dean or I'm Tariq Lamptey or I'm Semenyo, and I go on social media and I see that they went to see Jordan, they went to see Partey, and as Mufta has already said, these players don't necessarily have a very good relationship that, oh Charlie, why the coach come and see you, and then Jordan can tell him. they could start thinking things like, why didn't they come and see me? So then the communication needs to be on point. You can't just make 2 or 3 no, because it's stone throw from Jordan to this thing what's his name, Semenyo Bournemouth. It's stone throw, you know that, it's stone throw. You can quick train, then you are there. But Otto's own was very specific. I'm saying that the communication should have been clear, and once you are there, it doesn't hurt to just go and see everybody, because you've done it.
I see.
So in all of the So in all of
the
this,
best way I think it can be done, and also to help in attempting to address this issue of we don't have a great rapport. Better meets the if you go to England, better meets the Black Stars players in England and fraternize with them, as opposed to having individual. If there are specific cases that require 1v1 meetings, that can be done.
But it was
that's why the timing could be off. What I'm interested
have a very packed schedule.
What I'm interested in is that in all this that you guys have said, especially Cranston and Muftau, are you suggesting that the efforts that the FA and the coach have put into trying to fix the issues that bedeviled the last AFCON qualifiers, you're saying that it may not necessarily have worked, and that we could reassemble the team in charge with even more problems and solutions?
I'm saying the general sentiment I'm getting is they want to come and see. This match is very important from the playing point of view. It's very important. When they come to camp, how Otto relates with them, how he handled, because it was a very bad experience that happened. In fact, remember the last 2 games, Angola and there were a lot of pullouts due to injuries. A lot of people got injured. Some people had
and Gigi was affiliated to it.
Anyway,
so it's really important. Like match is critical,
and it's a do or die, because if it doesn't work out,
Fent, I think when the boys come, one of the concerns that maybe you speak to them, fine. One of the concerns that some of the players also raised about, they describe sometimes unnecessary meetings. There's so many instructions in team during camp.
They should stop complaining about meetings. Are there tactical meetings? Are there tactical?
No. When they say meetings, we are talking about accounting far. The guys waking up, they know that per the schedule is breakfast, it is training. They finish breakfast, they are going to change, then they say somebody wants to talk to
so
them.
Let me put it this way.
Those kinds of
things. They clear. When you are saying it, be clear.
There are many unnecessary instructions in camp. So that is basic.
Stero in OEB Estate said, before you guys even kick the show going, if the case squeaks again like that next weekend, I resign. He says, my wife says, where is he?
My wife says, what
noise is that? Hey, behave yourself. This message says, great job as always, Kwaboche all the way. And then my prayer, however, is that these guys make it to the top. There were quite a few guys from my time who I felt would have taken Ghana all the way, but they disappear right after school. Maybe we should adopt the Sprite Ball model. Have another competition that brings together the best athletes across the regions to compete. I don't know if we have anything like that, but yet, in my opinion, with the investment and the talents, these guys will be world beaters. All right, thank you very much for your message. And I think that we've made that point very clear. We need to have an international competition. National competition to bring all these athletes together. Good day, game plan crew. For Jordan Ayew to be able to captain the Black Stars. Okay, so where is it? Oh, yes. Good day game plan. For Jordan Ayew to be able to captain the Black Stars successfully, I believe he will need some guidance and support from those who matter, especially Stephen Appiah, who happens to be a management team member. Lastly, I simply can't understand why we are not making any effort to get a world-class coach to manage the team better and bring us good results. Is it because we've all given up on the Black Stars? This is Prosper Domenyo from Dakuman in Accra. And he also said, good day, Joy Sports. Under normal circumstances, Chad and Madagascar shouldn't be a worry at all for the Black Stars any day. But this current team can't be trusted to beat even a Division 1 team in Ghana now. If we, however, manage to qualify for the World Cup, then we would have no choice than to hire the service of a world-class coach to prepare the team and take us there. Lastly, the issue of accountability in our sports, as directed by His Excellency the President, is laudable, even though long overdue. All right. Thank you for that message. I've got another one. Hello, friend. Enjoying the show. Please ask Daniel Cransing if he still believes Arsenal will give Liverpool a guard of honor at Anfield on the 10th of May. That's Stanley in Achieve Mortar. This message said, good afternoon. Trust you guys are doing well. Excluding Danny K. Really? That guy.
Chris. That's your Chris.
That's your Chris. I see. That guy, I just no go mind. I go catch out for road top this weekend. Yeah, Chris was.
As for catching me, it's very possible because he can run.
Yeah, Chris. So yeah, Chris is the fire service guy.
Yeah. He's a fire service guy. You see when the alarm goes, gang, quick, he's the first to the fire tender. He can run rough.
All right, I've got a birthday shout from someone.
I think he can join the Open Championships organized by Ghana Athletics. He should come. He for come.
Yeah, it's open to everyone. Okay, happy birthday to Theodoric Segbefia, sales manager of Rana Motors. We're wishing him the very best and all the positive vibes. This is from Kojo Damanya, friends and family. On that note, let me also say a big happy birthday, 50th birthday to Raymond Labi.
Hey, today's Raymond's birthday.
He's 50 years
50.
old.
Oh, the lunch is sorted.
Raymond, to give you lunch, he would rather die than buy you lunch.
Raymond,
he's 50 today.
Wow.
That's a big,
Wow.
Big happy birthday too. Madam Diana Boateng of Ministry of Youth and Sport. You come for your jersey, eh? I'll sell it.
Say.
Yes.
The message said Mr. Theodoric. You said Theodora.
No, I said Theodoric.
You said Theodora.
Mr. Theodoric Segbefia.
Okay, yeah. So if I said Theodora, forgive me. Mr. Theodoric Segbefia. Daniel Cransing, is Jose Mourinho racist? That they have fined him for saying that the Galatasaray bench was jumping around like monkeys. And 4 matches, £35,000.
Gimmicks.
What do you mean gimmicks?
Gimmicks. If I was him, I'll leave at the end of the season.
At the end, he won't leave immediately because you've been accused of racism.
No, he has already built a relationship with his players. He should finish the season and then go. He said it himself a couple of months ago. If he knew Turkish football was this corrupt, he wouldn't even have come.
Turkish football.
It's not the best too. Jose Mourinho.
They brought the referee from Slovenia.
There were how many?
Six
techs on the bench. 6 techs. Did you see the video?
Yes.
You've seen the video.
Yes.
When you look at the people and the way they were jumping, how does it look like? There are only 2 animals in this world that me personally I know they jump: kangaroos and monkeys. They are the only 2. So if he has made a description that they were jumping up and down like monkeys, and if you look at the video, if you've seen anybody has seen the video, that's a clear monkey. The ones at the back are the monkeys. The one in front, the coach, is looking like a kangaroo. So it's a very valid.
Do you know? But do you not think that the world has moved in such a way that the word monkey has now been associated with?
But I also have a serious and a personal problem with that thing. You can't be policing and changing speech and the meaning, like because the world has decided that this word means something, somebody can't use it again.
Yes, you have to be very aware. It's called being politically correct.
No, it is wrong.
It's politically wrong.
It is politically wrong and grammatically wrong. A word means something. Words mean something. Actually means something. So when he uses the word, that's my issue. So if Mourinho said they were jumping up and down like kangaroos, nobody will take offense.
Yes, it's okay.
But when he says that
monkey,
they were jumping up and down like monkeys, are you a monkey?
Wilson says, Fen, what's going on in Interco and not zonals? Individual schools don't compete. That is super zonals, my friend.
Mr. Wilson, yes.
Mr. Wilson, this is super zonals. They do Interco, then after that, they choose the best schools to go and compete in super zonals.
Yes.
This is what's happening now in super zonals, please. So I beg you. I've got lots of messages today. Okay, let me see if we can get another one here. This one says, good afternoon to your TV station. Okay, this is different.
Go up.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it there. This one says, good afternoon, guys. Great work done as always. Don't you think Mikel Arteta should be sacked at the end of the season? This is a message from Joseph Ajiman. Then the Crown Team has a simple answer for you. Should Arteta be sacked?
He is Moses. Arsenal need this one. Was your friend is simple. The one who took them to the promised land. Was his name? He is Moses.
But Moses never arrived.
Yeah, that's my issue. So
that's why he says Arteta will never arrive.
Sack him and bring it. What's the guy's name? Is it Joshua or is it the person who took them into the promised land?
I've not read my Bible today.
The religious and moral education.
Thank you, Cranton. Thank you, Mufti, and thank you to Achutamaklu. But more importantly, thank you to all of you for tuning in. This is another episode of Game Plan. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. The show is sponsored by Petrosol and Betway. It will be available as a podcast. You can watch back on the Joy News channel there and all podcast platforms. We're back again next Friday at 1:15 p.m. Until then, do take care of yourself and bye-bye. Up next is BBC World Service.